Oi, what's up boys and grots and little snots, and can't forget the digger knobs. Walker's Workshop.
Hey, what's going on everybody? This is G The Hypersapien, and in this video we're going to continue exploring the Ork Miniature Range, but now we're going to have a look at some of the vehicles. So I'm really excited that we get to look at some of the vehicles now. We're going to look at Ork Warbiker Mob first. So you get 3 miniatures in this kit. Spin it around to the back. Speed, crazed greenskin bike boys. So we get these little bubbles with pictures inside. This crazy little git hanging off. Now on the front, as you can tell, had the yellow scheme. Now on the back we've got a red scheme. So we've got your yellow scheme. Looks a little bit more crisp, like Bad Moons or Flash kits would be a bit more clean. And then we've got the red that looks a little bit more worn, the armour. So these look awesome. It's got a big chopper. We'll quickly look at the suggested paint scheme, even though normally it's always the same. But we got the skin, black, metal, brass, red and yellow. So pretty much stock standard for Games Workshop colour schemes for their orcs. Now we'll bust this open. Oh, we got the Bad Moon logo. All the other kits had the Goth logo. But we'll bust this open and we'll have a look. Now we have our bases. For some reason they couldn't put them in a bag. We got our transfer sheet. Same stock standard old school one that's been around forever. It's only 20 years old, Games Workshop, you know. It's not like we need some updated ones. Still come in handy though for tattoos or transfers that you can put on vehicles. So it's always nice to have plenty of them. Anyway, as always, we start. Oh, we got colour. We have colour, people. So as always, we'll start with the build guide. So Ork Warbiker Mob. Nice side shot. And a nice bird's eye view. Read this. So this just says that you need plastic cutters to remove the components from the frame, line scraping tool to clean up the parts, but you could also use a hobby knife for that, just to remove mold lines, because they look really ugly if you leave them on the model. To assemble the model you'll need glue, and they just recommend to use Games Workshops. You can use another hobby company's products if you prefer. So here we go, boys. Boss knob. So we get the boss knob. You put the two sides of the tyre together, slap them together to make a wheel. Same with the bike frame. Slap 2 of them pieces together. And then just, as you can see, you have to make sure that you put these little tabs into the tyre. So then you get to choose a front. That's what this symbol means. It means that you have some variation, which is these 2 different ones. It's basically a skull. One looks like it's got more metal plating on it. One looks a little bit more natural. Again, same symbol. So you get to choose this, which is an exhaust by the look of it. And then you get quite a... then you get his legs to chuck on. It looks weird. Those. And the side of the frame, it looks like it's got some of the exhaust attached to it. And we get the biker's body and his head. So you put the head onto the body and then put them on. A little tip from me is I'll most likely keep the body and the head separate to the legs, so I can paint that. I can blue tack it to a old paint pot, put it on a cork, or even blue tack it to a base and use a painting handle to blue tack him on, because painting handles normally hold base, they grip to a base. Just something so he doesn't slide around really, so you don't have to hold it as you're painting. Anyway, I just like to, because most likely when you put him on here, he'll cover up a lot of this detail under him, the bike, especially once you put his hands on. Obviously his hands are going to attach to the handlebars, and most likely you'll have a hand free with a gun or a chopper. So, but either way it will cover up some of that nice detail we have. So you can have a variation here, so he's got a nice big chopper, or he's got his boss claw. And then obviously you've got the arm with the claw attached to it, and then you put these blades on it. And then yeah, that hand goes onto that side, and then you have the one with the handlebar. So that's nice. Now we got part 2 is the ×2 Warbikers. It's the same deal again. 2 sides of the tyres, whack them together, make the whole tyre. You get 2 sides of the bike, you whack them together, but you put this tyre in between. So again we get this symbol, which means you get some variation. Only seems like you get 2 different ones, I guess one for each Warbiker. So you get these headlights, I guess you could call them. Get these again, which are the exhausts. So obviously you put the headlights on and all the little attachments to it, and then you put that on, so you attach it to this exhaust here. Now this gets this part that comes in, so it's like the handlebars and the exhaust on the other side of him. And don't forget to put the legs in, which I'm not sure, I might keep the legs off as well, paint them separately, possibly put the body, head and legs together but not glue him to the bike, because I'm guessing it will have some nice detail for the seat, even though you're not going to be able to see all of it. But it's just going to be easier to paint the seat, even if you do paint it all and you won't see all of it. It's going to be easier to do that than put him on and try and work your way around his arse. Try and work around the legs and stuff, you know. So yeah, it's just going to save getting the colour of the seat and the bike onto the Ork and vice versa. That's just a tip of what I'll do. You don't have to if you don't. I mean, a lot of people chuck their models together and are happy to paint that way, but yeah. Anyway, this is, once he's built, you put the body and the head on. Now you get some variation, so you get all these different heads. This one's really nice. This one looks like it would suit like a knob or something like that. But that's what I love about these kits. If I don't obviously use them all on the bikers, which I won't because I'll have some spares, I'll be able to use these heads elsewhere. So, you know, I like this head. It looks quite big and menacing. Could use it on, you know, even a war boss or a mech or something, like a character or whatever, you know. So yet again you get some variation, chop and change, choose what body. Now we've got some nice bodies here. So you can basically have an arm holding the handlebar or a chain. And then on the other side, yet again you get some variation. These are sort of just mechanical tools, like they're in the workshop and they just go out and they just go out into the wire and they just fight. Then you get some different handlebars, so you know, chop and change. And then you get 2 sides of the gun, and then you get this little attachment that holds it together. And again, you get some variation with what the guns look like, and then that's when they're built. The different ammo storage as well for them. You get some variation of what the front of the bike's going to look like. All these different designs. That's what they are once. That's what they look like once they're built. Get some shoulder pads. But if you have other kits, buoys, knobs, I mean, you can just fully customize, grab your bits box and choose whatever parts you want. These kits are interchangeable, and that's what's awesome about Orks, how you can use all these different kits really. Pretty much most of the kits are reviewed. You can use some parts or most parts on each other. Anyway, this is what he looks like once he's complete. Obviously put him on the base. I'll be doing the bases separately, as in I'll decide what I want to do with the base, as in base and materials, and then put the bike on. So obviously the gun comes here, the front comes under here. Then we got the boss knob. Now that's basically the same as the Warbiker. He has the boss knob pole here. There's this little dude, this little cheerleader hanging off. So he has his boss pole. A bit of a suggested paint scheme again. And I'll quickly just show you this so you can have a look at it, even though we'll be getting a new codex soon. I'm sure the rules won't change too much, but obviously it's not going to be exactly the same. But have a quick look at that, pause it if you want. Now we have the sprues. So obviously we have the bike, get one side and the other. That's pretty much identical by the look of it on each side. You get another bike. So we get the tyres. These tyres look really nice. I love how they've just got sort of armour plating on them. Even different shapes and stuff. That's great. Big chopper is really sick. That's awesome. Love that big chopper. It's one of the best I've seen. Just really big and powerful looking. So that's his hand holding the handlebar. Love how he's got his big blade coming off his wristband. That's obviously his hand with the big claw. Nice looking body. Now the heads. They look pretty awesome. Would have liked this to be probably a bit bigger. It looks a little bit flat on his face. Would have liked a bit more of a biker helmet, I guess. So a lot of that was the knob kit. We have the Warbikers here. See, this is what I meant by having a bit more of a helmet on the other one. Just was a little bit flat. I like how this has more of a helmet look to it. This one looks like a mad professor. It looks like some sort of mech. See, I might use some of these elsewhere, as I've said. You get ideas when you see heads or you see body part. So you start feeling creative and start getting these ideas of where you might put it elsewhere. But I do like how these bikers look like they'd be working on their bikes in their spare time. You know, he'd be under there welding and all that sort of stuff. Looks like a mechanic. So we have the legs, all pretty stock standard. They all look pretty much the same. So you can see the two sides of the handlebars. So you could have them like that and then have their weapon or whatever on there. side. So this is the one that's more organic. You get the one that's more mechanical. These are nice. There's that grot. It looks really cool as well. You get all these different weapons. You get the last bite because the other two were on the other sprue. So this wheel's got some studs on it. I know this is a full squad, but it would be nice to get a bit more variation, but I guess I'm always asking for more. But it'd be nice to have a couple of different options, just because when you buy a second kit, it's going to be pretty much the same, but as I say, with Orks, at least you can chop and change with other kits, which is nice. Now this is the last sprue. Now these have some really nice looking bodies. He's pretty chiseled with his open jacket. That's that nice chain. Wonder if it'll work on a runt herder. As I say, you get sparks of creativity when you look at these kits. And there's the handlebars. So that's the front of the bike with the headlights. These are nice and big. You get this weapon, which is cool. The two sides that attach together. It's the other weapon. And then you get the grot on the boss pole. Now he looks really cool. Quite a lot of detail on him. So yeah, that's quite nice. But yeah, that was the Ork Warbiker Mob review. So I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I appreciate you watching and supporting the channel. This is G The Hypersapien, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.